This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So let's go ahead, guys. So in the last session, we are looking into your artifact, all those things. I believe we have already dumped your code to your repository, and we created a CI pipeline and CD pipeline, and we ran them manually. At the same time, what we have done, we made it as a continuous integration, continuous deployment part as well, right? So we made it as automated way as well in here. So, but what we have done till now, the things what we saw with respect to my CI and CD pipelines, which you try to go with your classic editor option, it doesn't really work in your real-time environment. Of course, it works. It doesn't mean it doesn't work in here, but they do not generally go with that particular part in here. So what they do, they will go and they'll try to implement the similar stuff using your concept called as YAML files. Okay, so YAML is a kind of extension, it's a kind of a markup language you have in here. Okay, so where it's kind of extension of the file what you're trying to go and write on things in here. So what is a YAML file? So what does it contains inside it? So let's see that now. So for that perspective, what I'll do, I'll go and I'll try to create a startup, YAML pipeline. So let me go and do the same old stuff what we have done. Create your repository, and I will try to push a dummy file. But what I'll do, I will try to create a pipeline with not respect to classic editor, but with respect to my YAML pipeline in here. So click on your link to get into my organization level. It's a default directory, and I would like to go and click on create new project in here. So here, let me check the names what I have in here with respect to my DevOps training, my repos, your .NET app. Okay, can remove that, not a problem. And here, some web application. Click on create project. Okay, so now go to the repos in here, trying to clone it in my Visual Studio Code so that I can push a dummy flat file or dummy, some notepad, some code in here so that I can have my code available within my repository level. So later on, I can go and try to create my pipeline with respect to my YAML, but not with my classic editor anymore. So now let's wait for the prompt so that it can go ahead and ask you, where do you want to save your repository? So that's the mandatory point. So once you happen that, you can go and do the things in here. So generally, so YAML pipeline, so this is your YAML files in here. So generally you can see, this particular part is a kind of a script you have in here, where within the script level, you can mention all the things. So earlier, what you have done, you create a separate pipeline from a CI and you create a separate pipeline from a CD, right? But within your YAML file or YAML script, it's not required to have multiple YAML files in here. One separate YAML file for my CI and one separate YAML file for my CD in here. It's not required. So you can push all your details in the same YAML pipeline in here. So you can enter all your details for your CI related things, and also you can have your CD related things within your same YAML pipeline in here. So that's the beauty of your YAML file. So you don't need to have multiple things within a single file. You can complete your whole stuff. Okay, let's go back here. Yeah, now go and try to my repos, select the repos location. So now things are getting cloned in here. Yeah, once it's cloned, let's open in a new window. You open in a new window. So close the older window, which is not required anymore, and expand this one. So go back to my local system. I can see my web application folder got created just now, and go ahead, click on and try to create some sample file in here. and I can mention this exact same link. This is the sample file. So go and try to save it and exit. So similarly, you can see automatically within your Visual Studio Code, the sample file.txt. So I'm trying to push this one to my remote registry. So go to the source controller in here, and here you can see the code added, tick mark, commit, and push that to my repository. So now within my repository level, if you go ahead, refresh your page in here, yeah, I can see my sample.txt available and with respect to my code what I have inside this one. So just a dummy code we have in here. Now what I will do, I will try to go to my pipelines and see here, I can see my build pipeline in here, or you can see when you click on your pipelines, the first page what you see here, this particular one, click on your create pipeline. So the build pipeline or create pipeline both the same in here. So again you came to the same page, but now what I want to do is like I want to go with my YAML. So currently my my code is already in my repositories in here. See my symbol, the some orange color, and you can some string symbol in here. The same thing I can see in here. So click on your first option, so Azure repository YAML. So once you click on it, it's asking you to select a repository. So see here, this is a default repository which got created once you're trying to create your application. So when you create your project in here. So why you're asking this option in here? Because when you're trying to create a YAML pipeline, that has to be saved, right? So because the details what you're trying to have, everything need to be saved somewhere. So where do you want to save it? So what repository you want to go within here? So I would like to save my things within my web application. So if you have multiple repositories, multiple list will be more in here. But since you have only one repository, you have by default, so this is you can see only one in here. Well, just go ahead and click on your web application repository. I want to go and save my things in my web application. Now it's asking to configure your pipeline. So if you have any existing pipeline, you can choose in here, or you can go to the starter pipeline. Okay, so we have more other options as well with respect to things, but since we do not know anything on your respect to YAML, I'm not going to touch this option in here. So I'm trying to choose my starter pipeline, which is it's a kind of a very basic one. See how it looks like. Just click on the starter pipeline. So now it's trying to see Azure pipelines.yaml. YML. This particular pipeline will be stored where? In my web app repository in here, and this is what it got created. So now what I will do, I'll go ahead and simply save it. I don't want to run it. I want to just save it and see, just save it in here. So once you save it, now you can see your within your repository, I can see my YAML pipeline in here automatically in here. So what I'll do now, I can see a new file available within my repository level where within a local machine, I can see only what? I can see only my sample.txt in here. So for that reason being, I want to pull back my things from a remote registry to my local thing so that things can be in sync in here. So go back and say pull. So now if you go to the list in here, now I can see my YAML file in here. So finally, this is a YAML pipeline you have, which has been created automatically when it's been created based upon the the starter pipeline what you have chosen within your repository level. So now let's try to understand what is this and what you have in here. So the first one, you can see the first 4 lines. All these are what? These are like your comments, just for my information purpose. So start with a minimal pipeline that you can customize to build and deploy your code. Add steps that test run. So it's trying to provide you things, and they're also trying to provide some kind of link to understand your pipelines. So to more understand about your pipelines, they also provide a link in here. You can follow the link and see the content what they are provided, and you can understand more if you want in here. So these are what all these are nothing but your commented section. So I want to add one more. So saying that okay, this is a starter pipeline. Suppose something like this. Okay, START. Sorry, starter pipeline here. So whatever you write in, this is a commented just for information purpose only. So to have a readability purpose, to understand for what this particular YAML file is for. So generally, with the real-time environment, you can see such kind of comments in here to understand for what this particular pipeline is for. Okay, this is for creation of my virtual machine, or this is for my to deploy an application within my web application, something like that, just for commenting purpose. So currently, if you want, you can keep it or you can delete it. Not a problem in down here. Okay, so just for commenting purpose, so that's not a mandatory part you have in here. So next thing you have mandatory level is like trigger. This is very very important. So here this is helping us to understand okay where you want to trigger this particular pipeline. So we have multiple branching strategy, or we have a branching strategy concept available where we can have multiple branches. So where do you want to trigger? So do I want to trigger in my master branch, or I want to trigger in my dev branch, or I want to trigger in my QA branch. So whatever the names you have to mention it here. Okay, so and at the same to see whenever any issues we have in here, automatically I can see some red lines in here where it helps us to understand there's an issue over here. Okay, so now this is the one where you can provide the things, you can get the things done in here. Space in here, there's a problem in here, so I need to provide the spaces in here. So now what I have done is like I have mentioned here multiple environment names in here. So where I'm this particular one in any environment, I can go ahead and it'll try to trigger the things in here. But generally we should not do that. Okay, because when you're trying to run this particular pipeline production environment, at the same time the pipeline will be running in dev and QA, which is not correct. Okay, so try to mention only one of the environment what you're trying to go with. That's the best practice you have in here. So this one is helping nothing but helping to understand in which branch you want to trigger this particular pipeline, in which branch you want to have all the things what you're trying to do in here, this particular pipeline in here. So I would like to go with my master branch. So to handle this one, you have to write master in here. But and with respect to my YAML pipeline, we have to make sure we have to follow some kind of indentations. Indentation, nothing but my spaces. Okay, indentation. It's what? It's nothing but my indentation in here. There's nothing but the spaces we have to maintain. The spaces you have to maintain in here. So because YAML script will expecting some kind of spaces in here. If you do not maintain the spaces, again throw an error within my Visual Studio Code in here. So for example, you see here I'm trying to remove my master. I mean the space between my hyphen and master in here. Automatically it's throwing me some kind of error, right? So if you maintain the space, yes, it has been done in here. So with respect to my trigger, what we are trying to do in here, when you hit on enter, hit on enter in here, so it's trying to provide you in here. So you have to mention your space and provide a space again and try to mention whatever you want to go with. Then it's okay. But if you're not mentioning the spaces in here, your indentation is not proper, then you'll be getting errors and you will not able to run your pipeline successfully. Indentation is very, very, very important in here with respect to my YAML pipelines. Okay. So for trigger, it's a straightforward one. And just write down trigger, colon, hit on enter. You can see, I mean, you need to provide hyphen, give a space and provide your environment, or provide your branch name where you want to go and run your pipeline in here. That's about your first point, triggering. The other one you can see pool. So if you remember, when you're trying to create your pipelines, suppose I'm trying to create a new pipeline in here. I'm going with the classic editor. Yesterday, when you went to the classic editor and when you're trying to continue and when you're trying to choose any one of the new format of the template in here, it's asking you some settings need attention. What is that? Your agent subscription. So why this is for required? So what we have done, we have choose your Mac OS latest or we choose Ubuntu latest in here. So what is this for? So this is for your YAML pipeline to run, to have all your process to complete. I need some platform. I need some base point in here. For that reason being, I'm trying to go and trying to have my Ubuntu latest virtual machine internally created, and within my virtual machine, I have all my YAML related or all my process related things to be completed, and I'll try to delete my internal virtual machine automatically. So everything will be handled by Azure. So without providing your, without providing your agent name in here or without providing your virtual machine name in here, we can't move ahead. So nothing, all the things cannot be run in here. For sure, it requires to mention this particular part in here for sure. It's a mandatory point to be noted. Similarly, here as well, to run the steps, whatever you mention in here, to run the steps in here, what I need my agent specification, or I need my virtual machine to mention where I want to trigger my things in here, where do you want to run your VM in here. Okay, so to mention that, I need a virtual machine, or to run my steps, I need a virtual machine here. So to mention your virtual machine, this is the syntax you have to follow. That's what your pool colon, hit on enter. So once you hit on enter, you will be seeing under P in here. So you have to provide two spaces, space 1 and space 2, or simply hit on your tab button. Both are same. Two spaces equals to one tab in here, and try to mention what you want to provide in your VM image equals to Ubuntu latest. So you can provide the similar things in here, so that it will go ahead and will try to run your steps, whatever you want to run it. It can be building your job, it can be deploying your job, whatever you want to do, all those steps will be implemented using your virtual machine Ubuntu latest in here. So for that reason being, they're trying to mention using your pool equal colon, and at the bottom with the two spaces or one tab, VM image colon and your virtual machine name in here. So these are all standards formats to be followed, nothing to be changed every time in here. Okay, so this is the one happening. So next is like, okay, you are trying to say that do you want to trigger in your only in the master branch, even though you have a change in your code in your dev branch or in your other branches, this particular paper will not be triggered because you haven't mentioned your things in here. Sixth is like, okay, you want to run, you want to implement all the process, all the steps what you mentioned in my YAML pipeline. I want to implement all those things using a virtual machine called as, with the help of my Ubuntu latest agent specification in here. Okay, so this is my VM image name, what I'm trying to provide, where based upon that, my VM will be created internally, and within my internal VM, all of my steps will be implemented. So these two are mandatory, you have to mention for sure. Okay, and one more thing, with respect to my pool in here, it's not like that the whole steps what you're trying to run in here should run only with based upon only one virtual machine here. If you want, you can have a separate pool for my first script and separate pool for my second script as well. For example, I would like to cut from here. So indentations issues. This is a problem with the indentations in here. So I have a format, so I can provide you that one where you can have a separate pool within my step 1 script 1, and I can have a separate for my script 2 in here. That means I can execute a different each and every step in a different virtual machines in here. So you can either provide your virtual machine related information to the on the top of my YAML, where the total number of steps will be implemented using only one virtual machine here, or you can provide a multiple pools with respect to each step what to see in here. So let me show you one thing in here. So let me go back to my trainings, my YAML, and in here. So forgot about everything, guys. Don't see here. I have a pool. So this pool, this is for building my staging engineer. So this pool just respect to only from web build stage. Coming to my deployment, I have one more pool. This is what I meant to. Okay, so you can have your different virtual machines. You can divide your whole YAML pipeline into different, where you can run your pipeline into multiple virtual machines in here. So it's either you can mention the top, or you can mention within the steps level in here, where each step can be, can be run with respect to each pool, with each environment in, or each virtual machine in here. It can be happen either of the way. You can do anything in here. So that's the other point. So now we have completed your triggering part, and we saw about the pool level. Now finally we are into steps. So these are the actual steps what I want to implement as a part of my YAML file in here. So what are the steps in here? So my first step, under my steps, I can see script. So see, everything has been, indentation is very important, guys, in here. Hyphen, space, script, everything in here. So what is the first script? I want to echo. What do you mean by echo, guys? We already mentioned. We already saw this particular command earlier. Echo means to print whatever you say. That's it. So what I'm trying to echo? What I'm trying to say echo? I'm trying to echo hello world. That's it. So while echoing, while running this particular small script in here, I should identify that my script is running, or my script is completed, right? Or my script doesn't started yet. For that, or my script got failed. So whatever to identify it, I need to have a name for my process while running my script in here, and that is nothing but my display name. So you can put any name in here. So you can put your name as well. This is just a display name to run this particular script, small unique script in here. So within the script, what you're trying to do, I am trying to just display hello world in here. So this is one of the script you can try to go with. The other one you have, script 2. This is script 1 and script 2, but nobody will try to write 1 and 2 in here. Each one is a separate script. So here it will be the name script in here, and here also it will be the name script in here. But here what I'm trying to do is, like, I'm trying to go with my multiple echo commands. So here I have only one echo command, guys, but here I am trying to go with my multiple echo commands. That means to have your multiple echo commands, I should mention pipe symbol in here. So pipe symbol intimates your YAML pipe is saying that you have multiple echo commands in here. So I can even add one more on my own. So like echo, it should be small letters, guys. Welcome to Devops. Welcome to Devops, something like this. So I can echo this one. So this is for what? Just a printing a statement. It's very basic and very, it's a very normal default one, where you're trying to just try to understand the YAML pipeline. So this is what one of the script where it contains 3 echo commands in here. So while executing these commands, what is the display name? So you can say run a multi-line script in here, or you can run a one line script in here. So if you want to make a change, you can make a change. So run a script, or you can run a multiple line script. So you can, whatever you mention in here, that will be displayed while executing your YAML pipeline for respect to when it's trying to run your script in here. So this one will be displayed when you try to execute this particular small script in here. So this one, the run of multi-line script, will be displayed when you're trying to run this particular 3 echo commands in here. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to just say echo. I'm trying to just display the things in here because I want to understand how the things are working in here. So the main part you have to understand that to run these particular steps, what I need my virtual machine for sure. And okay, with the, now my virtual machine is ready and my scripts is also ready to execute. But where do you want to execute that? I want to execute in my master branch in here. Okay, so this is what I have with respect to my YAML pipeline. Very small and straightforward default YAML things in here. So any questions guys with respect to my this the basic script what you have in here?
Um, so how do we identify if there's an error in the file? It's some missing the letters, spaces, extras, or how do we come to know that?
That's what right earlier when you're trying to have a space in here. So I'll throw and show you the red marks. So your
Okay,
that's the reason being mainly your Visual Studio Code tool has been used in your real-time perspective. So this really helps us in trying to provide all this information.
okay.
So now let me go ahead and try to push this new one to my, to my repository. So once there's a change in either my code level, go back to my repository again, leave this, I don't want to go this anymore. Even though there's a change in my code level or there's a change in my YAML file, whatever it is, my YAML pipeline will be triggered because this has been automation trigger in here. Earlier, you have explicitly mentioned that go ahead and enable my continuous integration and go ahead and enable my continuous deployment or delivery. But here it's not required. So whenever your YAML pipeline is there within my code level, the change may happen at any point, anywhere. It can be at code level or it can be YAML file level. What are the things in here? Currently, I made a change in my YAML file. So I've added new echo command in here. I made a change in my display names in here as well, right? So this change, or whenever your new things coming up into my repository, automatically my pipeline will be triggered in here because I'm into my master branch as of now. Okay, so let's see that now. Go ahead, Control S, and say you can commit some commits and push it. So once I push it now, so when you refresh this page, I should be able to see mine. See, welcome to Devops, new things came up. If you go to the pipelines, automatically my pipeline will trigger. So you no need to, run explicitly anything in here. Everything has been automated. So large class, what you saw is what is purely manual stuff. It's classic editor level, but that has not been useful in real-time perspective. This is what it will be used. So you can see a run a multi-line script. Run a script based upon the name what you provided. Just run a script in here. Run a multi-line script based upon the names what you provided. It will be shown in here. When you click on your run a script, it says hello world. When you click on your run a multi-line script, see it shows you whatever you have been displayed. Welcome to Devops and some some link and some other whatever you have in here. So everything will be displayed automatically. That's completed. So see my YAML pipeline here. So only one thing, and whenever you want to trigger the things in here, automatically make a change in here, either in the code level or within my YAML pipeline level. So now let me make a change in the code level in here. So I'm trying to add this is a second line, for example. Control S. Go ahead and code updated, tick mark, push it. So now if you go to the repository again, so within my sample, I can see my new, and within the pipeline, I can see my pipeline got started automatically. Okay. So again, this will try to run the same old stuff what you have within your YAML pipeline in here. So run a script. So it should show you a hello world. Run a multi-line script. It should show you the same thing in here again. So it's an automated process. So you no need to go ahead and you no need to specifically or explicitly mention that go and run the things in here. So the YAML itself, it's a continuous integration and continuous deployment in here. That's the beauty of your YAML pipeline in here. Okay. So any questions, guys, with respect to this particular part, YAML running or YAML pipelines automatically? Okay. So till now, when you see the pipeline in here, I can see something like, when you click on your pipeline, I can see something like stages. Okay. So here I can see only one stage. That means within the one stage, all of my steps are being implemented automatically in executed automatically in here. So what are the steps in here? My script one, my script two, everything. So you can see your arrow marks as well. So you can differentiate the things like you can expand, use like confluence. You can expand, you can minimize the things in here, whatever you want, you can do it. So if you have an issue or if you have an error, then this you cannot do the things in here. See, I can see some error mark coming up in here. So I can close it, but there's error in here. So this is how you can identify using your errors with the Visual Studio Code in here. Now, what I want, supposing that this particular script runs successfully. Now there is an issue in this particular script in here. For example, let me pull here. I'm trying to Control S, and I'm trying to push it to my again code updater or YAML file updater, whatever the comments. Click and push it. Now with my repos YAML pipeline, I can see some issue with indentation. Go to the pipeline, see it got failed. It's failed. So when you open up, I can see my stage got failed in here. So when you click on the things, it says that some issue with my line 15 in here, line something you know, something is expected, all the things in here. So this is my error I have in here. So, but actual error where you got it, my first script is successfully completed, but I've got a problem with my second script in here. So instead of having everything under one stage, is there any possibility where I can divide my stages so that first stage, my second stage, with respect to the script in here, so that based upon the stages level, I can clearly identify where my issue is. Okay, currently, if you see here, everything is under one, everything is under one stage only. So whenever you see here, when I click on my thing, so just if you say that the stage got failed, so within my stage, I have two scripts. Which script got failed? I just don't know that particular part. Of course, it's trying to show me the line number, all those things in here. But within here itself, I would like to make sure, okay, my first script got successful, second script got failed in here. So how can I make sure, or how can I divide the things into multiple stages? So script one, I want to have one tick mark like this. Similarly, for tick two, I want to have one more green symbol with similar to this one in here. So I want to have two things. What I see in here, green one, similar to that, I want to see two things. So I want to see two stages in here. So is there any possibility? Yes, we do have option for that, and that comes under the different the small extensions of my existing what you have in here. So let me open yeah, this one. So let me copy this, Control C, and I'm trying to remove all the things in here. Let me copy under this one. Let me check what we have here. Okay, so remove the name not required. See here, I'm trying to make a small changes to my things in here. Earlier, you don't have, after pool, what you saw steps and scripts. Okay, so earlier what you have, let me close this one here. So you have your trigger, and said that you have something like your master, whatever it is, and later you have a pool, and later on you have something like so VM image, and you said like, oh, it's a Ubuntu something like latest, and after that what you have your steps. Under my steps you have something like hyphen scripts script in here. Under a script you can mention like echo command, all those things you saw, echo hello world. Okay, so this is what you saw under my steps in here. But now what I want to do, I everything whatever the things you see in here, I am trying to get in one single stage. So what I want to do now, I want to separate my scripts into multiple stages. So to add my stage, we need to follow some kind of process, or it's not a kind of process, we have to follow some kind of standard. So what is that particular standard in here? So that standard, you have to add something like called stages colon. So under my stages, I have to start with my stage in here. So my first stages. This is my first stage. Under my first stage, so I cannot write down my thing directly under my first steps in here, but to write down, to reach to the same old part, what I need to do, I have to go with my jobs. Under the job, I'll be having a job. Under the job, I'll be having step in here. See, under the stages, I have a stage. Under my stage, I have a jobs. Under my jobs, I have a single job. Underneath this one, I have my steps to implement. So this is the standard you have to follow to write down the things in here. So why are you following all the things? Because I want to put this in a separate stage. Similarly, I want to go the other script as a separate stage. So again, you have to follow the same steps in here. So let me copy the same steps. This is a stage 2, but here I would like to echo something else, like Devops. I'll just echo Devops in here. So you will not have stage 1 or stage 2 in here. Nobody will do that. For every stage, you will be having your name. So this is something like a build. I want to build. This is a build. You're trying to build your code in here. For example, this is my deploy. I want to deploy my code in here. Just like just like a process name. This is stage name you want to mention in here. Okay, so to have your steps and script to return, and you want to, if you want to have the separate stages, then this is the process you have to follow. What is that? First stages, underneath that stage, under your stage jobs, under the jobs one job step, you can have script 1 in here. So if you want, you can have multiple jobs as well. It's not like mandatory to have only one job. So I can have one more job as well in here, one more job with my multiple other steps as well, like this. So this will be my job 1, or suppose echo, like every job should have their own name because it should be identified, or it's as per the things what you have in here. So here as well, some script, and here I can say echo VRIT solutions, something like this. So here I have only one job, but under my jobs in here, so only one script has been implemented, but here I have two jobs. So job 1 and job 2, each one has their own script in here. Okay, so to have your things to be split as part of your stages, then what you have to do, you have to follow this particular format. Understood? So let me go and show you the now here. See, let me hit my Azure pipeline level. Now I have my stages. So under my stages, after two spaces indentation, see here, I'm going to do two spaces in here for sure, indentation. So very first stage is build. Under my first stage, I have jobs. Under my jobs, I have my first job, and my job name is my build job in here. Under the job, you have your same old thing, your step and your script. Okay, so this belongs to my stage 1, stage 1 in here. So this is my stage 2. In this stage 2, I have two jobs. If you see here, stage 2 is test. Under that, again, same thing, jobs. But under job in here, I'm having two jobs, script 1 and my script 2 in here. So similarly, you can add more jobs if you want. You can add on. For example, okay, where is that one? Okay, I can copy the same thing, provide a third step or something, whatever you want. You can say post test, post test in here. So something like, I'm trying to go with my simple extra word post everywhere, testing on post Windows, something like this. So how many jobs you want to go, you can add on, you can keep and add on all these things. So these are what my different stage. This is my stage 1. Within my within my stage 2, I have like, this is my stage 2 in here. Somewhere went wrong. 1 second, guys. Something has been deleted. Yeah, this has been deleted. That's why I'm wondering where's my second job and for my stage 2 in here. So under my stage 2, I have two jobs in here. Similar to this, I want to create one more job. So copy this one and hit on enter here. Go back and make sure your indentation. So here it's a post test on Linux. Here it's a post Linux in here. So you can create multiple jobs under the same stage in here, or for each one stage one job, even that will work in here. So if you want to go one more stage, yes, see this third stage, deploy. Again, under my steps, I have my jobs. Under my jobs, I have a job in here. Under my job, I have my steps. Got it? So this is same formula what I'm trying to go with in here. So to have this particular part to be written, earlier you have wrote directly, but now to differentiate that into different stages, what is the process we have to follow? What is standard you have to follow? That stages, under the stage my stage, under my stage my jobs, under my jobs I can have either one job or I can have multiple jobs in here. So how many stages you have in here? Stage 1, all this is my stage 2, and this is my stage 3. So one stage, I will be seeing 3 stages in here. Under my stage 1, I'll be implementing this particular script in here. Similarly, under my stage 2, I'll be implementing 3 scripts: script 1, script 2, and script 3. If you want to put all the things in single shot, you can do that by using a pipeline. So which you saw all earlier, right? Similar thing. Or you can create multiple jobs like this and you can keep as it is. So under my stage 3, I have only one script to implement in here. So what I'm trying to teach in here is like, if you want to divide your things into multiple stages, then this is the format you have to follow for sure. And the similar format will be followed in your real-time environment as well. Okay. So let me go ahead and let me try to push this particular code to my repos. But before going to that, any questions on this one, guys? The way we changed in here. So now you will see the difference because you have divided into my multiple stages in here. So Control S, go ahead and say YAML code changed. Tick mark, say yes, and push it. So now within your repository level, you should be able to see your new YAML. See my new things in here. And within my pipeline also, my pipeline got triggered. Now I can see three different stages: build, test, and my deploy. The same thing, right? Build, test, and my deploy. So now I can see three different stages in here. So now it's trying to see, I can see my multiple things it is separated with respect to each as separate task in here. So now it's trying to implement my command line with respect to my build. So later on, within my test, again I have my test on Windows, test on Linux, post test on Linux. So we have added three different scripts, right? With respect to three jobs in here. The same thing. Job 1, job 2, and my job 3. So these are three jobs I have in here. Based upon that, it's showing you things in here, coming up in here. And finally, I have deploy. So again, deploy has only one job inside it. So we'll try to run it and we'll try to complete the things in here. So why is it taking so long to complete things in here? Starting my command line. Probably either it should be an issue or my resources of my Azure are busy in running my script lines in here. Yeah, it's done. So quickly. So when you click on your command line in here, it says building. See, within my first stage, what you say echo just building in here. For that reason, it said build on in here. So next thing in here, I can see my test on Linux. This is done. Testing on Linux. Similarly, third one, command line. Testing on post Linux. See, I'm able to see among multiple things running in a separate manner in here. I mean, each job in a separate stage in here. So this is like, they're trying to run in your Ubuntu latest. So the pool. So everything what you run, it'll try to run at the pool level. So pool is your things in here. It's agent, host agent in here. So whatever you run, your build job, so everything will be running at the same agent. What you're trying to do, it's like a agent pool where helpful for execute your YAML pipeline in here. So let me refresh. Doesn't be as completed. So now go line, command line, testing on. So my second has been completed successfully. My first is completed, second is completed, and my third is also done. See, command line, building the code, deploying the code. So the current thing, deploying the code, even this is done. So if you go back now to my pipelines, when you click on your pipeline here, see I can three different stages, one for build, one for test, one for my deployment. Okay, so when you're trying to separate the things in a different stages, now the readability is very easy for us. So you can easily identify, suppose if any issue happen, for example, go back in here and as usual, let me make a small change. Make a small change in Control S and some code, tick mark, yes, and push it. So now let's see what happens. Within your repository level, Azure pipeline, yeah, I can see jobs. Where did I made a change in here? Enter my test. Okay, the same jobs. I just moved a little bit ahead. So let's see the pipeline. It got failed. Or it got failed at the top level only. At least my first stage should have completed successfully. With respect to my stage level, it should show the things in here. Probably it's a syntax issue. It's showing you the similar thing in here. Make Control S. Save it. Nothing to change. Okay, no problem. Control S. The details. It should show in the at least it's showing you in here. So testing on Windows, some issues in here. So it should actually show with respect to your stages, so that it will be helpful for us to easily identify where we are into. But probably show you this manner. So anyway, so even the similar kind of strategy will be followed within your real-time environment as well. You see here the older one. I mean the actual pipeline. Where you see here, this is my build stage. So under my stages, I have a stage, jobs, job, and pool, and my steps. Of course, within your steps, it will be different for you. So this is my first stage. So this is my second stage, jobs, job, steps. And similarly, my third stage, jobs, job, and my steps. So the similar kind of format, the same kind of standard even followed in your real-time environment in here. Okay, so with this, will help us to understand what is the stage you have in where any issues happen in with any stage. You can clearly understand the things in here. Okay, so now after this particular part, is a simple. What you see, it's a very simple kind of it's a simple kind of echo commands in here, but in generally this is not the actual one which you try to trigger. So this is what just a dummy one. It's just a dummy one is trying to trigger for us and helping us to understand what's actually happening with respect to things in here. So now to make it more clear, what we have to do, we have to write down your actual task which need to be built. So to build, what we need actually, the respect to .NET application, for example, we need restore. If you remember, we need restore, or we need to build your test, we need publishing, we need a publish artifact. So this is the actual one which need to be under my CI stages in here. Similar with respect to my deployment, I want to download the artifact and I want to deploy that artifact into my web application. Download the artifact and deploy the artifact in the web application. This is the details which I need to have in my CD stage, continuous deployment stage in here. So those are the actual things. This is not the real things in here. This is just to understand the format, standard format, how we process in your real-time environment. Okay. So now seeing this particular part in here. So see here, I can see something like restore. I can see something like build. I can see publish, and also I can see my publish artifact in here. So to have my things written in here or to have my things included in here, I can see some kind of all this particular task, or where is that, from my task 1 to task 2. Yeah, this one. This is a task for my restore. So this is my task for my build. This is a task for my publish, and finally, okay, up to this level, and finally this is the task for my publishing my artifact. So how do I get this particular task in here? Is it like it's a separate kind of training we need to have for this? It's a separate kind of language what did we have in here? It's a separate kind of format we have to understand in here. It's not really required, because the task what you see in here is been provided by your Azure itself. So where I can see this task, then where your Azure is trying to provide all the steps task for us. So see here, go to my pipelines. Let me go with go to my pipeline in here. Let me go with my new pipeline. So try to go with the classic editor. So within your classic editor, continue, and try to go with the template what you're trying to handle. So now I can see my restore build, and I try to remove this one. It's not required, disable it, or you can remove it. So restore build artifact and publish my artifact in here. So click on your restore in here. On the right hand side, you can see view YAML. Just click on this. Okay, now I'm trying to open my notepad as well. So whatever things you have, you just compare these two. See, under my steps, I have a task .NET Core CLI at the rate of 2. Task .NET Core CLI at the rate of 2 in here. Display name is what? My restore. Similarly, here as well, my display name is restore. And I have inputs, command, restore in here, command, restore in here. And the projects, they are trying to go with some parameterization stuff, but for projects, what we are actually looking for, see within your project, path to project, we're looking for my this particular file in here. The same thing, I'll mention it here. Okay, so this particular task, what I see, I copied from my restore view YAML. Similarly, for build, I have my own YAML again. So this is my YAML for my build. If you go back in here, just try to see this particular part. See steps .NET Core at the rate of CLI2. I'll explain you what do you mean with this one. Here display name build, inputs. Here inputs project. You again go with the same old thing what you have in here. Under my build as well, I'm trying to go with my same thing what I have in here. So, but arguments, I'm not making any changes in here. So whatever you have in here, it's a build configuration. I'm trying to keep as it is. Okay. So only thing what we can change is like the projects what you see in here. So the same to whatever I have, I'm based upon that. I just copied it and paste it in here. Similarly, for my next is my publish. So choose publish in here and click on view YAML. So whatever you see in here again, it should be similar stuff within your within your YAML pipeline as well in here. So this is my task for my publishing and to this level. So just try to compare these two. So you will not see anything changes in here because this publish and your publish artifact will be as it is because I don't have any project related this particular option available in here. So it's exactly same what you see with respect to my YAML. So this particular YAML for the concept or the code what you see in here has been provided by my Azure only. So just copy it from here and I put it in my files in here. So similarly my publish artifact, view YAML, so the same thing in here. My publish my artifact. So whatever you see in here, the same publish artifact, my inputs, my build configuration, succeed or fail, everything exactly same. Okay, so I just copied from my in classic editor only. It's not like I learned from somewhere and I put it somewhere from Google. It's not like that. It's from the same pub from your my classic editor only. I mentioned things in here. Okay, or else instead of saying go with one and one in here, click on the agent job and say view YAML. Now you can see the whole step at a single point. So restore, my build, my publish, and my publish artifact. Just copy everything what you have in here and try to place it in your notepad. That's it. So this is the same thing, right? You're trying to see within my YAML pipeline, but only the thing is like you have to maintain your indentation. It's very, very important. Creating of YAML file is not that difficult, but maintain your indentation is very difficult because most of your issues will come with your indentations only, which is very, very important to understand. Okay. So we'll try to see, or let's try to go through your pipeline one more time, what we have in here. And to push this one, before pushing it one, I'll explain you what we have all these things in here. So probably now you may understood the first half at least, your build stage, right? So let me make it small. The same thing, see, the first stage, my build stage, where inside that I have my restore, my build, my publish, and a publish ad fed. So the same thing. Similar to that, I can also have my YAML concept, YAML code for my deployment to my respective web application. Download your things in here. So all these things, it's this part will be constant, because here everything have been parameterized. I did not have anything in my hardcode values in here. Only thing will be changing with respect to, again, my CI, because with respect to my each and every application, with respect to my technology, for as I showed you yesterday, for Python it will be different, for Java it will be different, for .NET it will be different. But whatever you go, wherever you go, for example, let me go back here again, leave it, and try to new pipeline, classic editor, continue, and this time I would like to go with my and, for example, my Java and. So if you click on agent job, you can see view YAML. So this is my YAML for, see, this is my small things with respect to my and what you have in here. So for everything you'll be have your own YAML, guys. So just try to prepare or create your YAML files based upon the application where you are into. So based upon the template what you chose in you can do that particular part. Of course, we can get the things from Google as well, but this is helping us to create your YAML pipelines in here. Okay. So that's all, guys, for today. What I have in here with respect to my files, or with respect to my real-time YAML pipeline, what you have in here. So this is only thing what you saw with respect to my CI, and this is with respect to my CD, and of course this is my repeated step of my CD. So I would like to deploy in my one of my application, which is my development environment. At the same time, I want to deploy my one more web application, which is my production environment. So the namings for my environment prod and environment dev, I can get that from my variable section. So this is my web application name, what I have in here. And see, this is my agents where I want to run my things. So this particular build stage, I'm running using my Linux machine. My deployment stage, I'm trying to run using my Windows machine. So it's up to you. Or if you don't want to have yet separate things, just place it after your master, so that all the things will be run based upon only one virtual machine you have in here. Okay. So that's all, guys, with respect to my the YAML concept what we have. So tomorrow I'll try to go through this particular current YAML pipeline one more time, and we'll try to run this one. We'll see how it goes. Okay. So any questions, guys, before winding up? Well then, so we can wind up for today. We'll meet tomorrow same time with running of your actual YAML pipeline. We'll see how it goes from there. Thank you, guys. Then have a great day ahead, and we'll meet tomorrow same time. Bye. Bye.
I'm sure.
Thank you.